What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So, in light of the video that I made about Jody's mother from Baby Boy and talking about Jody being raised for a woman to take care of him, he was raised to be dependent on a woman, etc., etc. One of my subscribers by the name of Ari Jones 9564. I believe I don't know if it's a woman or a man. Tell me which, are you a woman or a man? I'm not sure. I don't mean no disrespect, right? Ari Jones says, do you think, basically she or he asked me, do you think that marriage could have fixed Jody in this situation? First of all, Jody could have been married to Yvette all he wanted to. He was still a child. He was still not going to be working. He was still going to not have any ambition at the time. He was still just going to be just laying around the house lazy, not wanting to do anything. He was still going to be childish in his mindset, even if he did put a ring on Yvette's finger, right? He needed to grow up to mature. He needed to understand what life is about. He needed to, something needed to strike a chord in him to understand what being a provider and what being a upstanding man is all about. But nonetheless, Ari Jones also said, she or he asked the question, how can a man truly take care of any child when he is not committed to the child's mother? Having a job and providing child support is not raising a child or having a family. Marriage is key. I want to repeat what the question was. Ari Jones asked, how can a man truly take care of any child when he is not committed to the child's mother? Having a job and providing child support is not raising a child or having a family. Marriage is key. Well, I will say this. While marriage is ideal, it is ideal for a person to be with someone and they all live in house together. You be married to the woman, be committed to the woman, and make one big happy family. That is the goal. That should be the goal. For you to be in house with your children every single day to watch them grow and develop, and you don't miss any moment of the day unless you're at work, right? That is the goal, and it is beautiful for families to stay together and be held together and stuck together like glue, right? Because, it does help for the development of a child. But I do want to discuss the part of the question where she says, how can a man truly take care of any child when he is not committed to the child's mother? I beg to differ. I disagree with that statement. My mother and my father split when I was about 4 years old. It never stopped my dad from being a father and a daddy, like for a real dad. I didn't have a father who saw me once in a blue moon. And I guess maybe y'all can answer this question for me. Is it because a lot of women feel like when a man is no longer with a woman, they just stop being a father? I've heard women say, oh, men stop being a father to the child when they don't like the mama no more. I never had that experience. Well, one, my dad never hated my mom. My mom never hated my dad, right? Even when they separated, they were still cordial and still really, to this day, they're good friends with each other, right? But my father never stopped being a father when him and my mom split. I would be with my dad. I'm talking about, especially through like in high school, I was with him a whole lot of times throughout the school week. He was picking me up and dropping me off when I was staying at his house at times. And my mom was a primary parent for sure, right? But I can go to my dad's house anytime I wanted to. In the middle of school weeks, whenever, it was no issue. My dad would go and I remember when my mom and my dad first split and I'm in preschool. My dad would still have me at the house because my mom worked a rigorous schedule. He'll still have me at the house with him going to go give me some breakfast in the morning, taking me to school, picking me up, picking my sister up who's not his biological child, taking care of her too. Like my dad was a real dad, man. My dad had 4 children of his own, and loved us and took care of us outstandingly. And it wasn't just child support. My father, him and my brother taught me how to ride a bike. My father, the one that taught me about the importance of having cologne and smelling good. My father was the one that got me into wearing suits at a young age, right? My dad was the one who got me into coordinating my suits and wearing and being fly as far as like wearing nice clothes and keeping myself up or whatever, right? My father was the man who really was out here teaching me about manhood, about fatherhood, about being responsible and listen, my dad was responsible beyond measure. He the one I saw get up and work. My dad, listen, when he knew I had to get to school, He worked his ass off to make sure I had everything I needed to go to school, him and my mom both, right? But I never didn't have a dad because he wasn't in the house with my mom. Like he was a active father above and then some, and my mama can tell you that. Yeah, he wasn't in home with me, but I didn't feel it no different because I was over there all the time with him, man. All the time with him and my siblings. Like we was all, you know, together. And my dad was a man, he's an honorable man, like a stand-up dude, man, and never wavered in his fatherhood when him and my mom wasn't together. You know, in fact, I feel like it almost it caused him to even step up even more because he knew he wasn't at home with me. And he knew, okay, I have to make sure me and my son are bonded in a strong way. And we were. I'm talking about, I would be on the phone every day with my father, talking to him. Like when I wasn't at his house, like I would talk to him every single day. He called me, talking to me about the games. We would have conversation about girls and life and school and how I'm doing in school, how I'm liking school, and you know, the importance of a lot of different things, man. That's why, listen, my father, I learned so much from my father, and that's why I was never one of them stanky, musty smelling little boys. My dad was big on hygiene, and he did physical labor work, man. My dad was always smelling good. I ain't to this day, I'm not trying to be funny, I ain't never smelled my daddy breath stain. My dad was a brushing his teeth type of dude. I'm talking about always clean. You know what I mean? Even when he was sweating. Taught me and my father's that. He taught me about romance and how to properly love your woman when we doing stuff incorrectly, fixing our errors, teaching us how to put responsibility, business before pleasure. My dad was the one who enforced that too, man. He was the one that my mama wasn't playing for sure. But my daddy laid the hammer down for that, man. I never didn't feel his presence even at my mama's house. I always knew my father was watching me. Anything I did, I felt like, man, he watching me. He gonna know what I'm doing, this, that, and the third, man. It was never, I always felt this hand on my shoulder. You know what I mean? Whether I was in the house with him or not. But when I went in that house with him, oh, what? He the one taught me how to clean up behind myself. To stay tidy, to stay clean and keep stuff. My dad is a neat freak, man. He don't like no messy crib. He don't like people not cleaning up behind themselves, right? My dad was the one, man, making sure, hey, man, you got to look presentable now. Hey, look now, don't be going to school wrinkled up and all that. My mama did too. My mama ain't play that shit either. But I'm telling you, my dad was enforcing that, man. Let him come and see me with a wrinkled shirt on. Hey, man, nah, man, iron your clothes, man. You know, it was a thing, man. And always push education on me and being smart and doing what I got to do in school. My dad was the one. The reason for real, and both of my parents, I grew up in gangland, Chicago, Illinois. I didn't get in no gang because my mama wasn't playing that shit either at all. But my father, who my father was, man, he wasn't no street gang banging dude. He was street smart, but he wasn't no gang banging dude, nothing like that. He was my role model, my example of a man who got up and worked every single day, took care of his family, took care of his children, right? That was a cool, upstanding black man, doing his thing, making sure his food on the table. We all got good, nice clothes on our back. We all got everything we needed. My dad was that dude, man. So I don't know this fatherhood. I'm not going to dismiss other people's experience, and I'm not trying to come at Ari Jones, but I just never had that experience with my dad, man. And I was a kid. My dad was always with me, man. And his tutelage, his parenthood, along with my mother's, both of them combined, is what got me to be a scholar student. They got me an academic scholarship to go to college. Their influence, their motivations is what got me to get my bachelor's degree, my master's degree. My father believed in me, and my mother's too. But my dad, man, always there for me. I remember when we were in elementary school, my mother moved. We moved out of district, right? The school bus come to get us in elementary school, right? We call it grammar school in Chicago, right? We moved to 48th in Indiana. I'm going to school on 93rd in Princeton Park, 93rd in Princeton at Turner Jew Language Academy. The bus service tell us we are too far for a bus to pick us up. My dad living on 107th in Calumet, getting up every morning, taking me and my sister to school because we didn't have no way to get there. My mama didn't have a car at the time. she wasn't gonna have us on the bus, and he wasn't gonna let my mama get on the bus and take us to school. No, man. He getting up every morning, 5 in the morning, coming down all the way down to the low end to take us to school on 93rd and Princeton when he living in Roseland on 107 in Calumet. You know what I mean? When it was time for me to go take my school pictures, my daddy go take me, go get my haircut, go get my clothes. Taking my sister to go get her clothes, right? Taking her to go get her hair done, man. My dad was a man's man, man, and was a dude who loved his children, and still to this day. We talk nearly every day or every other day. You know what I mean? And he loved on us. He loved on us. He always told us he loved us. He never didn't say I love you. He showed us affection, right? My dad, he kept us close to him. So I don't have that, like, that's how, and so Ari Jones, to her question, that is how I saw a man take care of a child when he wasn't with my mama, right? He was still committed to doing right by us and being a dad, even though he wasn't with my mama. Like, look, I'm gonna make sure I do what I gotta do for my child no matter what. And that's what he did, man. And I'm always ever grateful for him and thankful for him. He was a father to my friends who didn't have fathers in their life, taking them home, taking them to, taking them to the certain bus stops, waiting for the bus to come, right? Taking us to school dances and all that, right? Picking us up, all of that, man. My dad was that dude, that black man, that was, and everybody looked at my dad like, man, your dad you got a cool dad, man. He came to report card pick up for us. My dad did. My mama wasn't coming to report card pick up. My dad was coming. My dad at the assemblies when we performing at school plays and all that. My dad's there. My mama there too. But my daddy coming there to support us, man. My dad is coming in, man, doing it, taking us to go to fun places. When it's hot, he calls us, what y'all doing? Getting my older sister. That's not his biological child. He getting us and getting us out the house, go get ice cream, all of that. So I saw a man do those things.